Five, four, three, two, one, and we are live. Hello, everyone out there. Thank you for joining us for another 30 Days of Thought. 30 Days of Thought is basically where my buddy Paul Lucido and I, reporting from California, we go live and talk about what we've read in our buddy Jay Doran's 30 Days of Thought. Today we're covering, let's see, what are we covering? The more you teach, the higher your potential. Paul and I did this, started this about a year ago. Basically just do a practice so we can become more comfortable with being uncomfortable. I find this very uncomfortable being live on Facebook and being out there with my thoughts, my raw thoughts. And that's what 30 Days of Thought's about. It's about actually reading, Jay's reading, and taking from those readings your thoughts and interpretation, writing about it, recording a video, and some people share those videos and share those thoughts like we do here. So we always start with Paul first because Paul's always got a great analysis of everything. But before we start, I'm going to read the excerpt from the chapter. Okay, so it's true wisdom is the knowledge that all thoughts are not necessarily our own, but borrowed energy that enables action and commands reaction. The more you teach, the higher your potential. Take it away, Mr. Lucido.
Thank you, Andrew, and it's great to be doing this. We're taking a lunch hour, at least I am doing it in a lunch hour. I know for you, you're 3 hours ahead, so you're getting toward the end of your day.
Ready for the scotch.
But,
That's what I'm ready for.
Yeah, you are, and I still have meetings coming up. So look, I wanted to touch on this subject because I think it's really important, especially with everything that's going on out there in this digital space that we're all trying to navigate. I don't think it's new news to anybody that there's an old adage that if you want to learn something, teach it, become a teacher, become a student. But the way you become a student is literally by, just hitting the ground running and beginning to move in a direction and share it with other people. And as you evolve, you will learn more, and also you impart good information, hopefully to that audience. After reading Jay's analogy, my personal interpretation of what I feel Jay was coming across with was that we're it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Sometimes there is an innateness in us to hold back information, to play it close to the chest, almost an unwillingness to want to share it with other people. Now, what is the catalyst for that? What is the impetus, if you will, that's moving you to not want to share? Sometimes that could be fear. Sometimes that could be literally not knowing enough about that information, or the fear of opening it up to discourse where somebody might disagree with you, whether it be just a mild disagreement to something very vehement, where they are just, literally being, they're retorting in such a way where they're not even open to the conversation. I think these are things that we really have to look at going forward. If you're looking to grow, if you're looking to become the better version of yourself, if you're looking to open up, I wrote here, my own personal note, by sharing information, you are growing by opening it up to opinion and possible discourse. That's what you're doing by sharing that information, and you can actually grow from that. The idea is, if you, I put here, keep sharing, keep sharing your way to your highest potential. That's actually what Jay wrote. And I think that means something. Yeah. The idea is, we're in this day and age now, Andrew. Let's just think about this. What you and I are doing, we've been doing this now for quite some time. We are reading these analogies. We're having an open discussion about it. And in some instances, we tend to be agreeable. In some instances, far and few in between, we tend to have a little bit of discourse. But
I disagree about that.
and literally to just block or say, I don't want to hear about it, talk to the hand, the face doesn't want to hear about it, that is not an open way of communication. you need to have a little bit of a thicker skin than that. You need to leave your ego at the door. The idea is this is not about trying to persuade other people. This is about sharing information that's an open source to almost everybody. And now by sharing that information, it can kind of get you to think perhaps in a different direction, or it might open you up to a thought that you did not have. So the idea is to be a good receptor. I'll use Jay's words. I love these words. Read to think, write to develop, listen to what is unsaid, and then speak to let go. Those 4 principles can be applied in everything that you do when it comes to self-education, and just digging in deeper, learning more, and then instead of holding back on that information, be willing to put that information forth. And I think a lot of people, Andrew, honestly are sharing information more and more on the internet. I think we're all doing it. You and I have been doing it. Jay clearly is doing it. But I think if you're going to go out on the web and you're going to put information out there, let me finish with this and then I want to hear your points, then be prepared to be receptive, if you will, to what people might think. If you're going to say what you're going to say, be receptive and take the responsibility for being accountable to what their reactions might be, versus just cutting them off. I don't think that's reasonable. At least in my book, I don't think it's reasonable, unless it's so far out there that you can't reason with it, and the person is just really not really trying to hammer it out. They're really just trying to hammer home, something that could be disparaging toward the individual that's trying to put that information out. So, don't know I said that completely.
I think I think it's like almost like where are you putting this information out there, just for yourself so you could pound your own chest, or are you doing this actually for a reason actually to enlighten other people and to have a dialogue, and to have a conversation, and to educate people? I mean, are you and it's not like we're educating about people that not like it's puts us on a higher level, because actually it's almost I don't want to say the opposite, but when we're teaching something, you're learning so well, like you said before, everyone knows. And what's interesting about it, so there's some data, I'm going to pull this up here. So when you read something, you capture 10% of what you read. This is something that Jay shared with me, so I got to give Jay credit for this. When you hear something, you capture 20% of what you hear. Then when you use video and view images, you're capturing 30%. Attend exhibits, sites, you watch some kind of a demonstration, you're up to 50%. Participate in a hands-on workshop, collaborate with other people, you're at 70%. But when you are actually are designing something and presenting, and you're actually sharing the information to others, you're keeping 90% of what you're sharing, what you're teaching. So to me, actually, it's such a powerful tool to be able to teach, is to become the student. And so when you are actually the student, when you are the teacher, you are automatically becoming the student as well as being the teacher.
You bring up, first of all, I thought you explained that very well, and I like your statistics, and I did not know on one of them. For me, on a personal level, and I just had this discussion, I believe, with Jay last week on a personal call that we had. For me, reading is actually really, I get a lot out of reading. It tends to immerse me. I know that a lot of people like to listen to books versus read books. And then there was a debate, well, if you listen to the book, did you really read it? I will argue that you did not, that you're listening to it and you're learning through a different medium. You're using your auditory versus, reading it with your eyes. The problem with reading is it tends to put some people to sleep because it is a strain on the eyes. I do a little bit of both, but for me, at the end of the day, that's an interesting chart you got there. I think one of the things that you were keen on, Andrew, was by us sharing information openly, as we are doing now, online, and this goes for anybody that's out there, you're opening yourself up, you're being a little bit vulnerable, because theoretically you have to remember, with all the data available to us, it's very easy nowadays to have others fact check you, okay? We're all privy to the same data. However, our level of experience, the type of work that we are involved in, where we're educated, will also contribute to how we absorb and retain that information. If somebody is a physics major, they're going to do a much better job on reading about physics and regurgitating that information to other people, okay? Versus a layperson who's reading about physics and trying to talk about it in their own vernacular. So in the world we live in right now, we need good ambassadors that could help take information, put it in palatable terms for other people to understand. And when I say that, it does not mean that, oh, you need to dumb it down so other people understand. That's a very arrogant thing to even think. What we mean is put it in terms not only that the person delivering the information can understand, but also so it brings people along, okay? Especially people that are just putting their toe in the water. You've got to be able to communicate this information in such a way so it can be comprehended. Then there are different levels of communication, and depending on who the circle the group that you're surrounding yourself with, or the people that are involved in that conversation, now you can take that conversation up to a higher level. That goes with any topic, anything that you want to talk about. There's always going to be somebody that's going to be kind of the resident expert in a particular field, and we need to heed what those people say, because and I'll speak for myself, when I do my book reviews, I am forced to read the book and really make sure I have a good understanding, general or otherwise. I need to make sure I have a good understanding of it before I can really talk about it, okay? I think that's our responsibility when researching information and then turning around and putting it back out. You need to do your homework. I think all of us do, especially in the day and age we are in now, where everybody's living on video, where everybody's out there becoming a research analyst. I mean, it's almost an unwritten law, unwritten responsibility. You need to make sure you are doing your homework. But again, going back to your point, we are more vulnerable in doing that. The target becomes bigger. There could be finger pointing. There's a lot of things that play into it that might actually hold you back from sharing out of fear of what someone might actually think. And to me, the idea is you want to know what someone might actually think. And you would like to hear from that, what those people have to say. That conversation ignites other conversations and starts to blossom, and you begin to grow from that, even if it's in discord with what you might think. Does that make sense? That's what I got from Jay's point of view.
Interesting. So you're saying teach it, and even if you don't, if it doesn't jive with you, if you don't believe it, by understanding it and by being able to dissect it and teach it, you will find greater understanding of it. Is that what I'm following you?
No, I think that's good. Yes, look, most of us are going to indulge in things that we're interested in, okay?
Yeah.
And you're going to have a higher comprehension, number one, if you're passionate about it. Number two, you actually have interest in it, okay? I'm going to just, give a case in point example, a couple case in point examples. In our industry, for example, you are kind of a resident expert when it comes to a lot of things that are going on in the mortgage industry legislative-wise. Heck, Kevin Peranio, as we know, is becoming quite a resident expert. He's doing his homework, he's reading, he's doing his research, and then he's putting out what I think is valuable information. Gary Malice has been doing the same thing. I'm talking about the mortgage industry. I can throw Christine Beckwith in there, Brad Lee, Jay Doran, of course, Barry Habib, that's a given, even Tim Brahim. A lot of these people that are out there that are involved, that are keeping their ear to the ground, we tend to listen to what those people have to say. Because why? Because they're doing their homework. They've taken great interest in it. Now, there are subjects that I've taken great interest in that I feel pretty confident in, that I can share and have discussion and discourse on, as I'm sure you can and others that are listening. So the idea is, try to stay in your lane, but at the same time, you got to jump out of your lane every once in a while in order to grow, or else you won't grow. So
Listen,
does that make
great,
sense?
yeah. I mean, I think it's a great. Listen, speaking of growth, I mean, Gary Malice. I mean, this is a perfect example of someone who's had all the knowledge and he's never shared anything. Like, I mean, through KP, who's just masterful at kind of taking actually these somewhat complicated concepts and breaking them down to us common folk out in the street here. But Gary now actually he's been doing unbelievable. I was just watching his interview that he did with Anthony, I think today, if I'm not mistaken. It's great. I can't wait to have him back on the Mortgage Leadership Outlook. I mean, it's funny. He always starts off like apologizing, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is gonna suck. And it's amazing. It's amazing. He's got a great personality. He's got besides actually, being super intelligent and knowing the business really, really well, he also has a good personality. He's likable. Like you appreciate that. And as a Jew from New York, I love self-deprecating humor. That's what it's all about. So
you took the words out of my mouth. I think that is part of his shtick and has always been part of it. But here's the thing. Gary was a really good example, because now he's getting his sea legs in terms of putting himself out there. He's always had the knowledge, very bright guy. There's no question there. But now the question is, can he take that knowledge and put it in palatable terms for people to actually understand without talking over people's heads? Because then you lose your audience, other than people just saying, wow, that was really intelligent, but not really understanding what was conveyed. The reality of it is that we're in an era now, in a time where you need to be a good communicator if you're going to put information out there.
Oh my
The
goodness.
idea is to engage your audience. The idea is to, if you can, captivate your audience in such a way. Part of that is keeping it real, as we know. Part of it is knowing what you're talking about. And if you don't, just be forthcoming with that. People are not going to, nail you to the wall because of something that you said that might not have been entirely 100% factual. Just the bottom line is, it's
Look at every politician.
Say it again.
Look at every politician.
Hey, look.
Look at every news source. They're mostly right.
I mean, look. At the end of the day, it is our responsibility to discern, to decipher, and then discern what information is information that we could use to help us move forward. And right now, I think, looking at what Jay wrote, and actually, going online and reading some of Jay's posts, I think what Jay is attempting to do is say, hey, everybody, look, let's have a discussion. Let's have a conversation. Let's be forthcoming. Let's leave our egos at the door. Let's not try to match wits. Let's try not to play the topic game. Rather, let's talk to each other with respect. Even if we disagree, we can still have a respectful conversation. The unfortunate thing is, we are humans. Therefore, human emotions come into play. There are things that accord with us and certain things that are not in accordance with how we think. And that causes an eruption of emotion. And sometimes that emotion can get away from us. It become like a runaway train. And, so the more you do this, the more you get online, the more conversations we have, the more guidance we can bring to people, the things that you and I are doing, Andrew, which I think is a good thing, I think all contributes to the greater cause. And what it also does is it gives others the confidence to go, well, hell, if those two guys can do it, heck, I can do it too. And we're starting to see more and more of that. So that's really, in a nutshell, what I kind of got out of this from Jay's analogy. And there were other things that he said too that I think are important, and that is, let's try to overcome the tugging to not want to share.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? what's the
I
point?
do. I
Yeah.
do actually, and actually, to that point, I'm going to bring up this great analogy that Carl White said in a video. Like the first time I ever heard of Carl White was this video that he recorded, where it was a dark room. He was in the center. I don't remember exactly what the dialogue was, but man, this like stuck in my mind, and I always think about this. So Carl. Um, has a candle. There's a circle of people around him, if I remember correctly. He has a candle. His candle is lit, and he says that information is almost like this candle, and that I can take this candle and light this person's candle, and now we both have this information. The candle is both lit. And now from the candle both being lit, now the room is a little bit brighter. And then they go around to the next person, to the next person, this person. And all of a sudden, everyone actually has that information. Everyone has their candles lit. And because their candles lit, because actually, now the room is brighter, everyone has their candles lit or has the information. And it's like when you share something, you're not taking anything away from you. You're actually helping everyone grow. And if we all grow, you grow. So that's something like that.
Well,
I was thinking about this.
No, I love the analogy, and what you're speaking to, at least this is what I'm getting from your point, is illumination. You're bringing something to light, okay? And so the idea is more candles, more illumination, more clarification, elucidation. Those kinds of things are a result of bringing a subject to light. And so, really good analogy, Andrew. And I'm trying to think if I remember in one of the podcasts you might have mentioned that before, because it sounds
probably. I talk about that a lot. Yeah, like that's
great. I think it's with you. Yeah, totally good, Matt. So look, anything else we want to talk about? Or we pretty good here? I don't know if we've gotten any comments. I can't see anything.
I don't even see anything. Yeah, like it's weird. It's I know actually we have some people watching us on Twitter and some people watching us on Facebook. The comments aren't showing up here, so I apologize if anyone's trying to talk to us here, but we don't see anything. Or I don't know, maybe both of the people that are watching this are just being silent. So yeah.
So we'll repost this and we'll make sure we get it dialed in. Would you like me to pick another subject hopefully for next week?
Let's do it. Bring it on.
Here we go, folks. So let me Okay. Let's see. Oh, I saw one that looked kind of interesting. Hold on here. How about, I just passed it. Nah, I'm not interested in that. So many. Well, we've done a lot. How about from caterpillar to butterfly?
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, okay. Restriction is not forever. From caterpillar to butterfly. So obviously, it's going to be talking about transformation. I think a lot of this book speaks to transformation, self-discovery, moving forward. Again, read to think, write to develop, listen to what is unsaid, and speak to let go. And hats off to you, Jay Doran, and to Jenna Silverman, both for putting together, writing up this great book, 30 Days of Thought.
I was going to try to make it go across the scroller that from caterpillar to butterfly, but I realized I couldn't even spell caterpillar close enough to get the autocorrect to say, oh, that's what you mean. So that's just it. All right. So caterpillar to butterfly, boom, we'll make it happen. Fantastic.
All right, Andrew.
All right. We're at 25 minutes here. We better shut up here. All right. All right, Paul. Have an awesome rest of the day. Everyone, thank you so much for watching.